Hi, this is Phyllis. Welcome back again to my channel. Today's project is my Cosmic Beauty bracelet. This bracelet is what I've been calling my New Year's Eve bracelet. It just kind of reminds me of New Year's Eve, and I think I'm just going to keep this one for myself. So if you like what you see here in my intro, stay tuned for my materials list and I will teach you how to make it. Thank you. The materials I will be using for this bracelet are as follows. I'm going to use 3 of my 14mm cosmic rings, 2 of my 8mm cosmic rings, a few of my 2mm crystals, the Potomac Bicone crystals. I'm going to use some 11O seed beads, 2 colors of Delicas. My color B Delica is my jet hematite. My color A Delica is my galvanized silver. I'm using 15O seed beads. These are my Yuki 15O in the opaque luster gunmetal color. I'm going to use a stainless steel toggle clasp and 2 stainless steel jump rings. These are 6mm size. I'm going to use my 6-pound fire line in the crystal color, my scissors, my size 11 tulip needle, my beadboard, and my patience. How's that? I love teaching this, but sometimes I have technical difficulties. So if you are interested in making the bracelet that was in my intro, please gather your materials and stay tuned and we will get started making this. I have strung my needle with 4 feet of thread, and I strung on 40 of my color A Delica beads, and I'm leaving myself a 4-inch tail. That's about 5 inches just to hold on to. And to get started with our stitch, I'm passing my needle back into the first Delica bead that I strung. I could make that Delica bead a stop bead if I wanted to, and sometimes I do have to, but I'm not going to do it this time. You can if you need to. So for the purpose of peyote stitch, here we go. Okay. Our working thread is exiting the Delica bead here. We want to string on a color B Delica and pass it. We're going to skip 1 Delica and pass through, and I hope to get this cleared up. You know what? Let's move these out of the way. That might help clear things up. And just for a second to teach, remember when you string on your first row of Delicas, it's your first and second rows. So right now will be stringing. I'm making my 3rd row, and we'll talk about that when I'm finished with this row. All right, so my working thread is exiting this Delica bead here. I have strung on my color B Delica. I'm going to skip a Delica bead, and I'm going to pass my needle into the following bead. Being careful to keep some tension in the back so that your beads can set up properly, and this is what you want. You want them to be sitting like this, side by side. Once I put that color B on, it should be sitting side by side with a color A. And to continue, I'm going to string on another color B. This is all color B. My thread is exiting this Delica here. We're going to skip this one, and we're going to pass our needle into the following one. That's all we're going to do. We're going to do this row just like that. Just do it all the way around. You string on a B color, you skip one on your work, and you pass through the following. This one here. This is a little fiddly. Let's see. All right, I just needed to get it into a position where I could comfortably work. All right, I'm just going to pass my needle into that following Delica bead there. And it's going to be fiddly, yes it is, but just be comfortable so that you can make these do what you want them to do. String on a Delica, my color B Delica, skip over one, and pass my needle into the next. All the way around. We have 40 color A's on. We're going to be passing 20 color B's around. String on a color B, you skip over the one that's next in line, and you pass through the following one, and keep doing that all the way around. And I will see you at the end, and we will step up together. I have gone around my 2 rows of silver Delicas with my color B. Come on, we need to focus. Let us focus. All right, I don't know what the problem is with my focusing. And as I'm looking at my tail, I think I've got about 5 inches of tail here, and I having problems focusing. That's what I'm having. All right, that's better. Okay, so as you can see, all of these color B Delicas have gone around, and I have one left, and it looks like I may looks like this might be wrong, but it's not, because when we're doing peyote stitch, remember, our working thread is exiting a bead. We have to skip a bead, which will be this one, and then we have to go into a bead. And it looks a little weird, but that's what we need because our silver bead is there. So I'm going to string on a color B, and I'm going to skip over this Delica, and I'm going to pass my needle into the following Delica right there. See that? And when I pull, you're going to see that it sits exactly where it is supposed to be sitting. And this is our row with the jet hematite Delicas. I know this, the beads might turn around and do a dance, but you're still going to be in charge when you go around the next and do the next row. You're just going to be making sure that you're passing your next row of beads into the proper bead. But before we can start with our next row of beads, our thread is exiting that silver bead, and we have to do in peyote stitch, you must do a step up. And the step up that you have to do is you have to enter into the first bead that you placed in the last round, and that's going to be this one right here where I just passed my needle. I'm going to hold on to the beads and pull the thread, and this is what we have. All right, now these are our first 3 rows. Well, how do I know that they're the first 3 rows? Well, when you count them, you can count them like this by the 2 and the 1, which makes 3, or you can do it diagonally by starting here with the hematite, going into the center there, which is number 2, and going right here to this inside, which is number 3. And all we need is 1 more row of beads, and I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to make that a silver row. So now with my thread exiting my hematite beads, I'm going to pick up all silver this time, and I'm going to pass my needle into each hematite, my color, each color B Delica, and we're setting up to do the bottom of our piece. These beads are going to do what they do, the stretch or curve or whatever, but the curve is not going to start on this round. So just keep doing that. String on a color A and pass the needle through your next color B sticking up bead. Make sure you see here how it's twisted here, how if I keep going I could get into this silver. No, you fix that. You go into your hematite, your color B. All right, and you make those sit the way you need them to sit. Sorry about that. And then you just keep doing that. Keep going around the entire round, and then when I am done, because I have to fix the placement of my tripod because I am making a mess right now. So once I am done, when I get to the end and I only have to put one more on, I will be with you. All right, I need to put two more of my color A's. So this is the first one of them, and I'm passing into my color B and my last color A. And one thing that I have done is I wasn't holding on to my tail as tightly as I should have, and so the first beads that I strung, they have really started to misbehave, you know, go whatever, do whatever they want to do, but you're still in charge of that, and you still can see where you're going. You need to have your 2 rows of the silver in this down in the inside, but that's going to change momentarily. So now my working thread is exiting this color B Delica bead right here where I am, and we need to skip a bead and pass into the next color B bead, and we are also going to do our step up into the first silver bead that we put in the last round. Pull the threads and just force these inside ones, force them down, and hold on to your tail and your working threads and pull so that they can get the way that they are supposed to be. Right now that my tail thread keeps loosening up, so it wasn't doing what I needed it to do. Now it's perfect. So this is what you should have. Your formation, your 2 silver rows down here, your center, your third hematite row, and then your top or bottom, because this is the bottom silver row. And I'm done with the Delicas on this piece. And now I'm just going to make my curve, and I'm going to do 2 rows of peyote with my size 15-0 seed beads. So this is the same thing we've been doing. It's repetitive at this point. My working thread is exiting this silver Delica here, and I'm going to pass my 15-0 seed bead into the next sticking up Delica, and I'm also going to have a tangled up thread mess. So let me fix that. I don't know, sometimes that happens. All right, that's my first my first 15-0 in there, if you can see it. And then you just keep doing that. Do it all the way around. Do your step up and make your second row of 15-0s, making sure you're pulling the thread tightly so that you are don't choke it, but just pull it taut so that your beads will start to create a curve. And this, like I said, this is going to be the bottom of the piece where we're doing these first 2 rows of 15s. So you continue doing that, and I will meet you when I have finished with my 2 rounds of these 15-0s, and I will show you what it's supposed to look like. And after I can stop getting tangled on my bead board. Okay, so I've got however many I have in 1, 2, 4 And I'll see you when I finish with the other 16, and I'm sorry, when I'm finished with the 2 rows of the 15 O's, and you'll see what they're supposed to look like. Be back in a second. I'm adding my last 2 15 O's right now, and right here, as you can see, we are going into our last 15 O's, skipping over this silver and going into that final bottom 15 O right there, and that completes the round. After I pull my threads, I want to make sure that you can see where we stand. We have a curve down here. Well, actually, we have the nest. That's where we're going to place our cosmic ring. The back with the silver, well, I'm sorry, with the foil or whatever that coating is, and then the front. So what we got, I'm not going to leave this in here right now, I just wanted to show you that was the purpose of creating that curvature on the bottom so that we could sit our piece right in there. But what we're going to do is we're going to step up. I did not step up into this seed bead, that 15 on right there, because we're going that way. And I'm going to pass my needle now up into this silver Delica. And I'm going to pull the thread, and I feel like I'm going to have a tangled up thread mess. Yes, I was correct, because I haven't gotten rid of my tail yet, and I'm going to just put another needle on there, and I'm going to go diagonally in the other direction for a few beads, because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to secure this bezel. I'm going to secure this bezel by coming over here and doing a square stitch. But the only reason I'm doing that is so that our piece will be secure, you know, or fixed as they call it. And I'm going to go back into the one that I came out of, and one more time I'm going to go back into this one that I originally did and step up into this silver Delica, going diagonally. And the reason I did that is so that I could work comfortably. I'm going to be adding 2 rows of 15 O's at this point, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the camera off, and I'm going to weave in my tail thread and get rid of it, and then I'm going to add 2 rows of 15s around the top. After I add the first row of 15s, I'm going to put the cosmic ring in there, and then make sure that it sits properly, and I'm going to do the second row. So you don't have to really watch me do that. I just want you to know what I'm doing, and when I pop back on the camera, I'm just going to show you what we're going to do to end the thread. All right, stand by. I'm placing my last 15 O in my bezel. Just going to go right here into that first 15 O that I placed in the last round, and there it is. We have a bezel. The only thing I'm going to do with this now is I'm going to weave in my threads, and I believe that 4 feet of thread is just too much for this, and so you might just want to put 3 feet of thread and go ahead and do the bezel. But it's the same, the pattern is the same, just the thread is shorter. So you need 3 of these, so go ahead and get them done, and I will see you when I am done with the 3. my three 14mm bezeled cosmic rings are complete. Now I'm going to move on to show you how to bezel the 8mm cosmic rings. To bezel the 8mm cosmic ring, I have taken the liberty of stringing on a stop bead and 24 of my silver Delica beads. I'm only using this color Delica bead for the 8mm bezel and 15 O's. Excuse me. So this is a little less complicated than doing the 20mm. I will do some of this with you on camera, but it's very simple to do if you watch the comprehensive video that I link that I attached. But this one is simpler. It's less beads, and you only have to use the 24 size 11 Delicas to do this bezel, because everything else you use now is going to be size 15-0 seed beads. And I'm going to put this, I'm just going to hold it right here just like this so you can see it. Since we have 24 beads on, 24 Delica beads, we only need 12 of the 15 O's. So my thread is exiting this Delica bead, excuse me, right here. Skip over that Delica bead and pass the needle into the following Delica. And we're going to do this all the way around. We're going to step up and do another round. So we're going to have the next two rounds that we do here are going to be our 15 O's, which create a curve right away. And right now I'm trying to get into the position to show you this, the way these should be formed. It's a little weird because I'm not working with another row of Delicas. I'm only working with the 15 O's, and that's because I need to create the curve to nestle the cosmic ring in when we're done. So this is how it should be set up. It looks a little weird, but don't worry, this is exactly what we need. And to continue, you string on a size 15, your thread is exiting here, you skip over the next Delica in line and pass the needle through the following Delica and pull the thread. And I'm knocking over my tripod. And this is the setup that you should have. And just keep doing this all the way around. You just pick up one, you skip one, pass through the next one, keep going all the way around, and try to make sure that, do your best. Use your dexterity to keep your size 15-0 seed beads on the outside. You pick up a seed bead, you pass you cross it over a Delica and pass through the next Delica, and just keep doing that all the way around. And when you get back around, you're going to finish off the row by passing through that Delica bead right here that's by my stop bead and into the first 15-0 that you put on in this round. Do this 2 rounds. Add 15 O's for 2 rounds, and I will see you at the end of my 2 rounds, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. I'm done with my second round of 15s, and this is my bottom. And I have not stepped up into the next, the first 15-0 on the next round because I'm only making 2 rounds, but I need to position myself up here in the Delicas to start the top of my bezel. So with my thread exiting the 15 seed bead right there, can you see that? Right there, I'm going to pass my needle into the next 2 Delicas, the silver ones, because that's how you do the peyote stitch. And while I'm here now, I am going to knock this tripod over. Not trying to. Sorry about that, you all. So right here, we're going to do the same thing on the top. However, you may want to sit your cosmic ring in there after the first round, because we're going to do 2 rounds of size 15 seed beads, and after the first round it's going to nestle in. But if you try to do it on the second round, after the second round, you just have to leave that second round loose so you'll be able to fit it in there. But I am going to put mine in after I do my first round of 15s up here on the top, just by, you know what the drill is. You string on a 15, you pass through the next Delica that's sticking up, and you do that all the way around. And once you get around, you do your step up into this very bead and do your second round. And after you do that, you do the second round and step up, and then I will pop on and we will do our little embellishment on the front. So right now we're here. I have completed the 2 rounds of peyote with my size 15 O's, and I was going to do an embellishment round, but I'm going to stop right here. I'm just going to leave it just like this, and I'm going to go ahead and end my thread, and then we'll move on to the next part. I'm just going to end the threads here, both threads, tail thread and working thread, and I will see you for the next part of the video when we make our connector. So, see you then. All of my components are made. Now I need to make 4 connectors. Now we are going to make our connector. I have a brand new piece of thread, 1 yard of thread on my needle, and we're going to do our herringbone stitch, and the herringbone stitch is going to be interrupted or embellished. So on my needle I have strung 2 of my Delicas. Slide my thread down to the end, leave a small tail, something to weave in later on or just to hold on to, and pass my needle back up into the first Delica that I strung on. Pull your thread and your beads should set up just like this, side by side. We're going to move forward by stringing on 2 of our Delicas, and our needle is passing up into the left side Delica. We're going to pass our needle down into the right side Delica, and I'm going to hold on to those beads and pull the thread and set these up in herringbone style and fashion, and we're going to reposition by passing our needle up into the 2 left Delicas, the 2 Delicas on the left. How about that? Now we're going to start our embellishments now, but first we're going to string on 2 Delicas, pass our needle down into the top Delica on the right, hold on to the beads, pull the thread, set these up, string on 1 15-0, pass the needle into the corresponding Delica bead on the left. See, my thread is coming out of here, out of this one, and if I just pull the thread over this way, well, anyways, we're going to go into these 2 Delicas on the left, and that's just to get us into position to continue. But when we pull the thread, our little 15-0 embellishment is going to be right there, just like that. Let's do another one. We're string on 2 Delicas, pass our needle. See, my thread is exiting going away from me in the left side. Pass our needle down into the top Delica on the right side. Pull the thread down. And once you get here, now string on a size 15-0. Pass the needle up into the corresponding Delica on the left and the one above it, which gets us in position for our continuation. Of course, we've got the mangled up, tangled up thread here. All right, just hold on to your stuff tightly, and or put your finger there so that you can guide your beads in the right position. And so this is what we have, and this is what we're going to do. And you're going to have to do this for 30 rows. Right now I have 4. I will pop back on when I'm done with the 30. But right now, let's go. Let's get the 5th one on. String on 2 Delicas. Pass the needle into the top Delica on the right here. And let's try that again. I have the fiddly mess going on. Top Delica on the right. Pull the thread, and they set up just like this. String on your 15-0 and pass your needle into the 2 top Delicas on the left. Pull your thread, and here you go. All right, so now I have 5 rows done. I'll see you when I have my 30 rows done. Just continue doing it just like that, and every now and then just push the beads down, just making sure that there's no slack, you know, so it doesn't continue to be loose. And it will curl up like a snake, but don't worry, expect it. And I will see you in 30 rows. All right, we're here now, and we have the 30 rows done, and we've got a curved, squiggly piece, I'll say. It's a little messy, but that's okay, because we're going to fix that. What I'm doing now is we have to add 15-0 that goes right here. I'm not going to add any Delica beads. I am, however, going to add my 15-0 bead, but I have to pass my needle into the top Delica bead that's on the right. I'm going to string on my 15-0, and I'm going to pass my needle up into the Delica on the left. We will still have to add one more 15-0, but we're not going to do that yet. But what we are going to do is try to resolve some of the squiggliness, and I'm only going to do this one time. I'm going to pass my needle all the way down through the length of these Delica beads. I'm going to have to do it in several passes because my needle isn't that long, but make sure that when you're doing this, you have your piece on the side so that you can see that you're not missing any beads. So just continue to pass all the way through as much as you possibly can, because we want to straighten this up a little. We're not going to pull the thread that it's so tight that it won't have movement, but we are just going to make sure that it's not as squiggly. All right, here we go. All right, so I've been all the way through. I'm all the way down. Pull my thread, and now we have less squiggle. We do want curve, but we have less squiggle. But now what I'm going to do is go all the way back through all the beads on the left side, just so that it will be a complete reinforcement, even though the left side gets reinforced every time you get into position. So there's going to be a little more thread in your left side beads than there is on your right. and just make sure that you don't miss any. Go all the way through until you're at the top. And you'll know if you've done the right thing when you hold your piece this way and your tail thread is coming out of the left side and your working thread is coming out of the left side. And I haven't really pulled that tightly on this. I just wanted to make sure that I had a complete reinforcement. Now, I have completed all of my connectors and I have all of my bezels done. And I'm going to insert a clip from when I did the earrings, when I connected the two bezels from the earrings. So don't be confused when you get to that part. This is a 14mm bezel that we're going to connect with the 8mm bezel, or however, because you need 4 connectors. But the next clip will show you how to do the connecting. But the 2 bezels that I used in my earrings clip are a 20mm and an 8mm. So don't get confused. Just understand the process is the same. It's just that that recording is already done and I'm going to insert it now. Now that our connector is constructed, we are going to do just that. We are going to connect our 2 bezeled cosmic rings. Just going to pass my pass this connector through these rings using my tail thread as my guide, and making sure that I have my 8mm properly positioned. And I'm not going to do anything yet except connect these. You know, you can do this right in the front of it, because you don't have to hurt yourself by trying to do the connection inside. Oh, this is why this is a perfect stitch to use for this connector. Now, with my needle exiting, and you're going in the right bead because you have your tail thread here. You're going to pass your tail thread, your working thread, into that single Delica there where your tail thread is exiting. And I know I dropped it, but that's okay. Then I'm going to come around in front of this 15-0, and I'm going to pass my needle into that corresponding Delica on the right where we just went in here on this bead. Make sure your thread comes in front of the 15-0 and you pass your needle into the corresponding Delica on the right and the one on the single Delica on this side where we started. So now you're connected, but we're not reinforced. And we're going to continue, and we're going to do that. We're going to come back again and make sure that your working thread is in front of that size 15-0 seed bead, and we're going to pass our needle through the corresponding Delica that's on the left here on this side, and that first single Delica where our tail thread is exiting, and pull the thread. When you pull, make sure that you keep that size, that thread in front of that size 15-0. You don't want to get that caught up in there. And of course, mine is trying to go behind it. I want my thread in front of that 15-0. And this time it is properly, not properly positioned. What I'm gonna do is hold the thread, the needle there, while I pull the thread, and there you go. This time it's right. It's in there. Okay, it's in there. Now this time we're going to go one more time, and this time we're going to get that missing 15-0 in there, and you want to make sure that you are properly placing your thread. I'm going to go into this one single Delica right here on this side. That's the side where the tail thread is exiting on the left. So I'm going to go into that one Delica right there. And I'm going to string on a 15-0. And I'm going to pass my needle into the Delica where our tail thread is exiting. And put that embellishment 15-0 right there. So you see now it looks seamless. If my tail thread wasn't there, you wouldn't be able to tell where this connector began or ended. So with that 15 in there, I'm going to move my thread behind it, and I'm going to come down into this Delica here and the next Delica, and I'm going to do a little reinforcement by passing my needle in front of this 15-0 and passing the needle into the Delica bead below the Delica where our tail thread is exiting. Pull my thread, make sure that this thread stays in front of that 15-0. There you go, and there you have it. There you have it. And now our connector is in place, and you see how our beads are hanging. The only thing I'm going to do now is end both of my threads. I'm going to pass the needle around and do a couple of passes. I don't want to tie any knots because they are easy to see in these projects, but as you can see, my tail thread and my working thread are meeting up with one another. I could tie a knot right there. Actually, I will. It's a connector, and I'll be able to. Actually, I'm not. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to weave these threads in, and once I finish weaving the threads in, we will get together and do the last part of our earring. But right now, this is what we have. Okay, so I'll see you as soon as I'm done weaving in these threads. Here we have our bezels and connectors all together. It's the top of the bracelet, and it's a little tight because we have reinforced and done all these things. It'll loosen up a little bit when you get to wearing it, but this is just the top, and we are going to have to do our strap. And so stay tuned, and we will do the strap together. We're going to make our bracelet strap at this time. I have taken the liberty of stringing my needle with 24 inches of brand new Fireline, and I also have taken the liberty of attaching my jump rings to my toggle clasp and my toggle bar. So those are two steps that are already done. And I also went ahead and identified where I want to attach my bracelet strap. I already passed the needle in there. I want you to notice this. There's these Delica beads have a pattern where there are back, up, back up, back up, back up. So I want to I want to start my strap here at the place in these Delica beads where you get the back, front, back. That's how I want to do it. I don't want to do the front, back, front. I want to do back, front, back. And I have already done that. I passed my needle into those 3 beads right there. If you can see, here's my tail thread over here. I've got about 4 inches of tail thread, and this is my working thread here. So I entered into this back Delica bead right here. I went through this front Delica bead here, and I'm exiting in this back Delica bead. And I'm going to move ahead by getting ready for our right angle weave. If you watched my necklace strap video, I did the same thing, and I picked up 2 of my 11/0s, and my right angle weave is going to consist of 2 11/0 seed beads per side. And what I'm doing is my working thread is exiting this way, and I am holding on to my tail thread back here, and I'm going to pass my needle back into the 3 Delica beads where I started. I know I can only get those 2 for right now, but I'm just going to pull the needle through just a little, and then I'm going to enter into this back Delica bead right here where my working thread is exiting. Just go right in there, and then I'm going to pull my thread. I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to pull on it. I'm not trying to be out of frame. I want to pull on it in the direction that my thread is going so I don't shred my thread. And once you pull the thread down, you should have this formation here. I'm going to reinforce that connection or unit by entering back into the 11/0 seed beads, and then I'm going to go back into these 3 Delicas down here, and I promise I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it the same way. Pull the thread and then enter into the back one, trying to stay in frame. And I'm sorry about getting my fingers in the way, but now that those 2 11/0 seed beads are attached and reinforced, just like that, they are not going anywhere. So how are we going to continue? Well, I'm using 2 11/0 seed beads per side, and I need 3 more sides. I need my right side, my top side, and my left side. So that means I have to add on 6 of my seed beads. And I'm going to get them and circle back. I've got my 6 on, and I'm going to circle back into the 2 11/0 seed beads, and pull my thread, and I'm going to start here right away. I'm going to reinforce, but I'm going to define my shape. I'm picking up a size 15/0 seed beads, and I'm going to through the 2 11/0 seed beads on the right, making sure I'm holding on to the beads so that I can have a tight and secure unit. All right, I'm going to string on another 15/0 seed bead. I'm going to pass through the 2 11/0 seed beads on the top, pull my thread. I'm going to string on another 15 seed bead. I'm going to pass my needle into the 2 11 seed beads on the left, and I'm going to string on a 15 seed bead, and I'm going to pass my needle into the 2 11 seed beads on the bottom of the unit. And that accomplished two things. It reinforced that unit, and it defined our right angle weave box. And now we're going to embellish this unit right away. I'm going to string on one 15 seed bead, one crystal, and another 15 seed bead. This is what I have. My working thread is exiting this way, and I'm going to enter the 2 seed beads on the top, only the 11 seed beads, and I'm going to bring my thread diagonally so that I'm entering these seed beads from left to right. I'm just going to pass these here. It's kind of awkward for me to work this way, but I just don't want to do too much moving around. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. And there you have our first embellished unit for our bracelet strap. Now let's do the next unit. This top now, the top 2 seed beads now become the bottom of our unit, and we already have our 2 seed beads for the bottom, and we need to string on 2 seed beads per side. So I need 2 seed beads for the right side, 2 seed beads for the top, and 2 seed beads for the left side. And I'm going to circle around, and I'm going to pass my needle back into those 2 size 11 seed beads only on the top. That makes our next unit. And then it will also hold this embellishment in place. You can always reinforce that if you want, but I'm not going to. I think it's good. So let's go right away and make our formation. I'm stringing on a 15 seed bead, and I'm passing it up, my needle up into the 2 11 seed beads on the right. And I'm going to do this again. I'm going to string on a size 15 seed bead and pass my needle into the 2 11 seed beads on the top. I'm just holding it so that I don't let this loosen up. I'm going to string on one more size 15 seed beads. I'm going to pass my needle into the 2 left side seed beads. And one last time, I just want those to pop in there. One last time, one size 15 seed bead. And pass my needle into the 2, just the 11s. Don't get them mixed into your 15s. So remember, what we've done is we've reinforced the unit and defined its shape at the same time. Once you are here now, remember, string on a size 15 seed bead, a crystal, and one more 15 seed bead. And you're going to make sure that you go diagonally and pass from the bottom 2 seed beads into the top 2 seed beads, making sure that you pass your needle from left to right into the top 2 size 15 seed beads. Only those 2. And when you pull, you'll have your embellishment already in there. All right. I'm going to keep doing this until I get the length that I need. I really believe this is going to be my set because it's really going to be made to my size. It looks like it's something, it looks like a New Year's Eve set. What an idea. Put my black dress on, right? And put my my boots on and go on out. The only place I'm going is to watch night service at the church with my black dress and my new set. I think I really am going to wear this myself, but you just need to make enough units on each side so that you'll have just enough length to add your toggle. So continue making the units, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to continue making my units, and what I might do, I might have a thread on each side, and I might just make both sides at the same time. That way I will know how long I need my straps to be. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put maybe 5 units on this side, and then I'm going to start and put 5 units on the other side over here. But that's because I haven't counted this out or made it already. And I don't know how many of my right angle weave units I'm going to need. That's the only reason why I'm doing that. So don't mind me. I'm just a teacher, right? Okay, so continue to make your units, and when I am ready to make my little bails at the end and put on my clasping, I'll pop the recorder, the camera back on, and we'll finish together. Let's finish this bracelet together. On each side of my focal, I have 6 units of right angle weave for my strap. On this side, I have already attached my toggle clasp, and I'm not going to do anything differently on this side than I did on that side, except for we're going to be adding our toggle bar. So, and this is simple. You've completed all of your units. Your working thread is exiting here on this size, these 2 size 11 seed beads. I strung on 6 of my size 15 seed beads, and I'm going to get my toggle bar and pass my needle into my jump ring, and I'm going to circle back and enter my needle into the back of these size 11 seed beads where I started, and when I pull my thread, I've got my attachment. All right, I'm going to reinforce these size 15 seed beads as many times as I can get the thread through them, and so that we can go ahead and finish this off. Is that all of them? Wow. All right, that's all of them. And we're going to go back in here in these size 11s and just pull it tightly right there. There you go. And continue just reinforcing it. I'm going to go back again. And here. Try to pull the thread in the direction that your work is going. That's 3 times, right? We're 3 times in there. Let's see if I can get a 4th pass of thread. Absolutely. And I'm not going to chance fate. I'm just going to leave it at that. 4 passes of thread through my size 15 O's. And that is a secure connection right there. If I can get through these. All right. Now, once I've done that, the only thing we're going to do now is we're going to secure the thread. Let's just make sure that we've got a proper fit. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, this is going to be great. Now, once here, I'm going to flip my unit, my work over to the back. And I'm going to reinforce this unit by going into all of the sides of the unit. And I'm going to just turn it so that I can work easily. And I'm only going into the size 11 seed beads. I'm not going into any of the size 15s. I'm just going to reinforce this one unit right here and keep going in the direction of the bracelet focal piece. You know, I'm just going to keep doing that, and so that we can tie knots away from this connection. It's strong there. I don't want to compromise the strength of it by tying knots up here. I want to tie my knots down here in another unit. So I have reinforced this unit, that one on the top here closest to the toggle bar, and I'm just going to get into position now to reinforce the next unit just by working in figure eights so that I can get this thing done. I'm going to tie some knots. So I'm going to start off by entering into these two seed beads right here on the side. And I keep going into that 15 O. I don't want to do that. I want to just go into the 11 O's. There you go. And of course I dropped it. Let's do that again. Into these two 11 O's on the side, pull the thread, and let's make a knot. Right here, under the threads, I'm passing my needle under these threads here between the size 11 seed beads. You see, I found the thread, and that is called a thread bridge. I pass my needle up under that thread bridge. I pull up a loop. You see that? I got a loop here, and I'm going to pass my needle into the loop twice. And pull my thread, and that will pull down a knot. See that? Then I'm going to advance my needle into these two size 11 seed beads here. Those are the ones that we know as the crossover size 11. I'm going to turn my work just like this. And right here where my thread is exiting, I'm going to find the thread bridge again and pass my needle up under that thread bridge between the two size 11 seed beads. See that? I have my thread bridge right here. Pull up a loop and pass my needle into the loop twice. Well, one time. And again. And pull my thread, and that knot is right there safely between those two size 11 seed beads. And I'm going to pass my needle into these 2 size 11 seed beads on the side, down, and remember we're working towards our focal piece. And these 2 crossover seed beads here, and the only thing I'm going to do now, I'm not going to tie any more knots. I'm going to reinforce this unit that I just entered. So I'm going to head towards these 2 size 11 seed beads here on this side, and into these 2 here, trying to avoid that size 15-0 seed bead. I'm just going into those size 11 seed beads here, and these 2 size 11 seed beads on the side. Back into these 2 seed beads here where I started in this unit, and back down on the side, and now into these 2 crossover seed beads right here. And it's at this point that we are going to call it a done deal. A done deal. Get my scissors, pull my thread, just pull it and give it a nip right here, and that is it. This bracelet is done, and I must say that I really like this. I really do, and I hope you make this. I hope you get your materials. I hope you get your whatever colors you like. I'm sorry about that. I'm just putting it on and just covering up everything I'm doing, right? Yes, and to get your project done. I think this is this is some nice work, and it really reminds me of New Year's Eve. It really does. So right here, I'd like to thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you like this project, and I hope you make this project, and I hope you share pictures with me on Facebook. And thanks again for all of you who supported me to help me reach my 1,000 subscribers. And I have already done the giveaway, and we have a winner, and that is the video that I published right before this one. So have a great day, and thanks again for your support. So long.